life is this snow globe, and I'm stuck on the little tower inside. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, actually. My best mate Sarah bought this for me on a school trip to Italy a few years ago. She loved it there, so we decided that we would go in the summer after 6th year. That was the plan, anyway. Don't know what's going to happen now. Oh, my dad bought me a plant to brighten up my bedroom. It's doing well, actually. Well, I've had more time to take care of it since I've been in quarantine. I water it daily, and the sunshine can get to it through the window now that I let my blinds open during the day. I've been saving up pennies in a jar for months now. And it's not got very much in it, but it was meant to be money for my trip to Italy with Sarah. It's not as if the pennies aren't worth anything anymore. You know, like, I'll still be able to use them. I just have to wait. And they've still got value. They're still pennies, but they'll just have to stay in the jar for now. See, my plant's still growing, but I don't know if I am anymore. Everything I was doing and everything I care about has been put on hold, you know. School, learning to drive, working on my writing. Maybe all I can do is keep myself fed and watered. Let the sunshine in through the window. If this plant can do better in quarantine, then maybe I can do the same. But will I still have the same value after lockdown? Like my pennies? Oh, maybe things will just go back to normal. Maybe everything will still be there, waiting somewhere in a jar for me. I don't know what's going to happen now. I keep looking at this snow globe. It's pretty mesmerising the way the tiny flakes float around and around and around. And now all the tiny flakes are floating around me. All the things I care about, you know, around and around and around and around and down. They're just swirling around and I can't reach them.
I lie in my nest of quilts, smothered in blankets and mould, and gaze at the ceiling paint, slowly flaking, cracking, and leaving behind a harsh grey plaster. The morning cobwebs stay floating behind my eyes, never truly leaving unless banished by steaming coffee. Coffee ran out 2 weeks ago. My creaking hips echo the door. A curly white mess levitates above my head. Water runs through the shallow wrinkles of my face like a spider web of mountain rivers. Like all days before this, the scuffed kettle screamed and sliced the silence of isolation as I slice a cold bar of butter. My calendar redundant, spread wide open on April, days blended into each other, and whole weeks went by, only to be forgotten. I add 1 sugar to my tea. The crinkled pages of the book felt like my own hands, dry, rough, pale yellow like desert sand worn down by time, textured with endless grooves. Opposite the street, I can see green grass shining in a garden, exotic plants blooming in the late summer light. A solitary cat wandered the street on an unknown quest. I water my potted cactus on her windowsill fondly. The table was set for one, with cutlery faded from the drawer. My friends and family smiled at me from their picture frames. My fourth tea of the day soon vanished, but the toast was abandoned for hours. As I make my way to my bedroom, I do not think what I will do tomorrow, or what I did today, but only of sleep, where I can drink more than tea and gossip with my neighbours and help my grandchildren with their homework. Until I wake, I am free from this sad house. And as I slip under the duvet, I am happy.
I dreamt of a storm. Yes, a storm. Bullets warm, raining in from above, uniforms rough, stained with gore and blood, a flood, yes. A flood of crimson, spewing a mountain of red, a fountain of lead-scented guilt. Curdling green sea I drowned down in masked, choked, face-scarring, limb-tearing, heart-rupturing horror. I need refuge from this hellish deluge. Deeper and deeper into the sea of sleep I fell. Sinking and blinking, bidding my home farewell, begging, pleading, praying, please, let me see that golden stairwell. Cure me of this cruel disease. I knelt broken on my knees. Please just let me breathe. Let me breathe. I dreamt then of a storm. Yes, a storm, a swarm of infected souls, tales of lepers locked alone, decrepit souls shunned at home. A malice-filled disease swooping in from overseas, leaving loved ones broken on their knees, leaving shops emptied and gardens unweeded, panic all seeded, and science unheeded. An invisible enemy locking us in hegemony, taking us out into soul-wrenching, mask-wearing, social distancing dread. I need to be secure from death premature. Deeper and deeper into the sea of sleep I fell. Until a scrub-clad, gloved hand reached down, swam to each drowned man, lifting us out of the sea so we could breathe. Heroes, yes, heroes, on ground zero daily, risking personal happiness for merciful service to everyone else. Nurses, doctors, drivers, cashiers, with perfect purpose to help, to give a breath to the gasping, life to the lifeless, hope to the hopeless. Higher, higher on this hope I rose fulfilled, flying, vying for some ark to build. Running then from ventilators and death machines to homes of pure light beams. Paintbrush in hand, great Russian mind, rainbows on windows painted, art a refuge, pure and true. Vying for some ark to build. Ducking then from shells and mines to trenches and benches and paper all lined. pen in hand, beloved in mind, poetry, words alive, a century survived, security found in art's purity, dying for some art to build. I woke into a storm, yes, a storm, all forms of frozen hellish hues of blacks and blues, thunder rumbling, tearing the skies asunder along cracks of fractured lightning, skin shredded by rope and shattered bone, splintered fingers gripping tattered sails torn by hail. But still I rise from waves and tides indomitable, indefatigable. Dawn fades dusk and dusk bleeds night. Time passes by. The sun a blurred golden line in the twilight sky. Shadowy shrouds of storm and clouds retreat in rout. The beauty of earth's divine design seen in the smooth, sparkling seas. Breeze alive, pearly gates in sight. At last, I can wake and dock my ark in. I've arrived at the garden.
I mean, never in my life have I had to fight somebody for a bag of crisps. I genuinely did not think that my life would come to this. All I wanted was a day out. You know, here's me getting all excited for a chance to get to the shops of all places, a wee break from the house, you know. And I've just found myself fighting somebody for a bag of crisps. Right, I'll set the scene. Picture this. I've got my wee trolley, right? I never bothered with the big one because I wanted some snacks and some bits and bobs to tide us over to the next big shop, you know. I'm following all the rules though. Queuing outside, wiping down the trolley, following all the arrows as well, until I get to the crisp aisle, right? I grab some quavers, because I'm partially a wee quaver, you know, and I'm on the lookout for those kettle crisps, you know, the cheese and onion ones. Now, it was the one thing that our Laura had asked for, so I wanted to get her it, mainly for the sake of my own sanity. And I spot them. Just one crumpled packet left. There it is, bright yellow, falling to the back, looking all sorry for itself. So I scoop my trolley right over, reach my hand in, and then I see this other hand almost in slow motion, diving right in, as if it had any right to do so. And like I haven't already marked my territory. And this other hand just beelining over to that one packet. Well, I look into the eyes of my betrayer and see these wee green beady eyes looking back at me with a glare that is all too menacing if you ask me. And this hand starts to pull in this bag of crisps. So I find myself in a tug of war. I scan the shelves again to see if there's any other bags lying about, but no, this really is the last one. So I pull in my corner and then bang! The packet explodes in our faces. I'm pretty sure a couple of folk actually duck. The crisps start raining down on the two of us, and I'm guessing this outing of theirs isn't to do with escape a house full of empty nest invaders who would absolutely annihilate them if they had the gall to return home without the snacks that were so aggressively, if you ask me, placed on order this morning. So I drop to my knees and I start stuffing the bag full of its fallen contents. And what does this person do? They stand up, put a hand through their perfect wee white perm, face wrinkles up into a big smile, and they tut at me and then hobble off and roll the trolley away. That's right, I won. I'm taking that victory and I feel no shame. It was either my head or hers, and well, I like my head. And I realised when I was walking round the shop how utterly mad everybody's gone. Now, I may have just fought an old woman over a bag of crisps, but I can guarantee you that I am not succumbing to the same madness that everyone else is going through. Emptying shelves, I mean, no obedience to the rules, buying more than what any one family could ever need. Christ, the tiny scare, and all of a sudden it's Armageddon, eh? Survival of the fittest. People really should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, it's not a competition, is it? It's definitely not one that they're going to win, is it? No. Look, I just got a few bits and bobs. That's all I needed. That's enough.
Oh, God. What are they talking about now? Is it still her turn? Wait, she's the youngest. She's the last one left to talk. Are we done? Is this it? Jesus, that went fast. Ha! His laugh sounds just like Grandpa's. I miss him. God, I miss them all.
Who, me? Oh, everything's fine. It's been great seeing you all. We'll have to do this again soon. Of course. Bye. See you.
I can't believe they were all there. And it worked. 20-odd people, about 12 dogs, and 4 time zones on one screen. Mental. Why were there so many dogs? I didn't think we were a dog people. Are we? Since when?
Guess I missed that memo.
They seemed happy enough. Dogs are good for company and exercise these days. Good. When did they all get dogs? I don't remember there being dogs last time I was over. When was that? 5 years ago? No. Had to be longer. 10? No. Oh, Jesus, how can I not remember? What can you do though, eh? I've spent more of my life away from them than with them. How did that happen? When did I become okay with it? No, not okay. Wrong word. Is there a right one? My family is spread across the continents, and the world is basically on fire, and I'm about to have a panic attack because I can't remember when they all got dogs.
Jesus Christ.
We could have been doing things like this for years. Although, I suppose no one really used Zoom before this. I guess adversity is a great uniter in all things.
Why did we wait?
Or why was it how it was before enough? It wasn't a conscious choice. At some point you have to prioritise. Focus on the people nearest you. And everyone else, you still love. You still pick up right where you left off God knows how many years ago.
Pull yourself together.
This was a good thing. You saw them all for the first time in years. And yeah, it took a global pandemic, but every cloud, right? It feels like I've been preparing for this my whole life. Because now, there may as well be an ocean between every single one of us. This should be easy.
This is my whole life. This isn't a big deal. I miss them. They're so close, but so far away. I think I'd forgotten to miss them. Because I'd always been somewhere, not here. I got used to that. I had to. Not like it's going to change. We all had to change the way we were with each other. You can't be the same way with someone when they go from being in the same house to a full 8-hour plane ride away. You adapt. You make it work. It works. It works really well. It was enough. Until now. Because seeing all them, nothing like it. Seeing the other select few people in the whole world who actually look like you. Seeing the same crooked smile, that distinctive nose. And God, you can still hear the accent in most of them, no matter where we all ended up. I could have gone on living my life with all of them just in my periphery. I would have gone on knowing they were always just there, but never beyond that. Could have been enough. But now, I remember that I miss you.
Aye, we're all fine, aye, thanks, Hen. I'm just glad I got that big pot of soup made aforehand. Aye, well, the spuds were on special, so I thought it would have been a crime naughty. That'll last me a good 6 days, between lunches and dinners. Listen, I don't know how to tell you about this. It's about me and George. I know we're all going through a tough time now, and, well, we've broken up. Just the other day, and I know this maybe isn't the best time to be throwing him out, but it's his own fault. He's went and caught this thing. Oh, he catches whatever's gone at the time, Margaret, I tell you. I mean, it's been in the telly, it's not like he wasn't educated on the subject. And aye, we've had some good times together, I don't mind telling you that, you know, the days at the beach, out shopping, hospital appointments, family meals, cycling round Millporter. That was a favourite of his. I will be glad we're not going to Millport now. I'd have thrown him off the boat by now. But no. That was the final straw, Margaret. That was him. Away out he went. Aye, I know. I says to him, I says, now you listen here, George. You go anywhere near that shopping centre, I'll do you in. You know what he says to me? He says, I'm not going to get it up the shopping centre. I says, aye, George. Very good. Knowing you'll come back with 2 different versions of it. And he slammed the door, and off he went. I mean, it's like Russian roulette. That's Moira's daughter went and got it now. No seen a man in weeks. I says to George, oh, you know, I would love to be going out shopping, spending what's left of my PPI money, but I'm no, am I? No. Oh, aye, Hen, I tell you about that at the time. Aye, £3.5 grand. It's not bad for doing nothing, eh? Here, what did I know by? Apart from paying half bills and that, you know, I got new flaring in the conservatory, I put carpet down in my dining room. Oh, I bought one of the Dyson machines. Almost hoovered the bloody carpet right back up. And I splashed it in the wains. Oh, just a wee bit, mind. I'm not spoiled. No my wains, Margaret. They've earned their money. Just like I have. I mean, I have tidied every drawer and cupboard in this house, not to mention putting my back out down the weeding, which is not a job I usually do, Margaret. And here he is, swanning about, picking up any disease he can fun as if it's a pastime. Well, I had to get him out. The hurt he has caused me. Aye. So tested on Wednesday. And he's been out the house in isolation since then. I mean, I don't mind a common cold, Margaret. But chlamydia? No, you're not on.
I wish I was a moron. I wish I was so unambitious that this pandemic period wasn't even a hindrance on my quality of life. I wish I had no discernible life direction, because I would be loving this right now. I could be going out and meeting people and be completely oblivious to the fact that I'm committing eldercide. Not even be oblivious, I just wouldn't care. Care homes, smokers and the obese would be cannon fodder to my beer with my friends. The endangered people would be silage to me. Now is the time of ignorance, and it is utter bliss. I don't think I'm a moron. Personal bias, of course, but I still think in comparison to the general public, it is fair to assume that I'm indeed not a Neanderthal. And in understanding this distinction between my own intellectual and distinguished self and that of the rest of the country, I have had time to reflect. And upon my reflection, I've concluded the thing I hate most about the lockdown is other people. In every capacity. Everyone is terrible. No one can be redeemed. People are either too passionate about staying indoors or too indifferent, and so the centrists cease to exist. In theory, that would rid us of Tony Blair, which would be the only positive to come out of such a hypothesis. But even that physical embodiment of bacteria is still able to do speeches for news networks. The most tragic thing to come out of this whole ordeal is not us being locked indoors, but the very notion that people still think that they matter. They don't. We don't. When someone shares a video of themselves playing a song on their guitar or posts a picture of a vegetarian meal from the Hairy Biker's cookbook, the very act of uploading it is one of maintaining relevancy. That is, if they hadn't shared their activity online, that they would somehow dematerialise. Sharing it with your close friends is a self-congratulatory way of boosting your own ego because you have no one else around you interested enough to compare yourself to. We must be productive. Look at all this time we've been blessed with. And because of that ever-pervading pressure to create or learn, I have to show people what I've done with it. This guise and fleeting productivity is not only performative, it is overwhelmingly competitive. If a pandemic has proved anything, it is that community, in every sense of the word, is dead, and that this virus didn't kill it, we did. It's revealed that we're a culture of selfishness and egotism. And I am so glad that we can realise now that the world will still rotate without us leaving the house. We don't matter. There should be hope in knowing that, and yet there isn't. People will still cross a motorway to avoid being less than a 10-metre radius from you when they see you in the park. People will still huddle together as a family unit to protect their sanctity when they see you approach. This is why I stay indoors. Walking through the park made me grit my teeth the minute I saw an elderly couple climb a fucking hill so as not to be near me. Seeing people irks me, watching them pretend to be fine as though the cosmic reality of their own irrelevancy hasn't exploded in front of them like a nuclear mushroom cloud baffles me. Watching people smile and laugh and clap for their heroes grinds all the joints in my body to a halt. Going outside will remind me that people will still smile when they see a picture of a dog and will still cheer when the elite hold up a placard with the word cheer on it. So I stay in. I tried to convince my friends on the phone that we shouldn't be optimistic because we're being let out into the unknown. We shouldn't feel anything because we don't know how to feel. There's no Plato quote for this, no sociologistic theory on how to react. We have no leader to take us forward. We have nothing. And as I talk and sit here and yell about the pointlessness of having a direction to look forward to, I think maybe I'm the moron.
Hey Mum. I don't know why I'm writing this letter to you from the year 1,000,2050. At least I think that's what year it is. Since you're long dead. Just old habits, I guess. I mean, this place is absolutely outstanding. Can you believe I fell asleep one day in 2020 and woke up 1.5 million years later? Even though I'm still on planet Earth, or Terra, which is what it's called now, it is a far cry different from what we're all used to. From what I've heard, some mammals and animals have evolved to become more humanoid and human. Apparently, they're actually more common than actual humans now. Because pure humans, which is what they're called, are nearly extinct, and I've been told I am one of the last few. Some virus outbreak, which is deadly to humans, caused mutations among common wildlife such as dogs, cats, lions, insects, fish, and they have developed human-like traits such as intelligence, walking with 2 feet, and even talking. That's crazy, right? First girl I met when I got here, Kula, she has a leopard's tail and a pair of ears, and some animals have evolved into a different type of animal. Some are harmless, but some are really ferocious. Oh, and the vegetation and flora here is absolutely outstanding. Some plants glow when night falls. It's really beautiful. The various capital cities that we know and that people have lived in, like New York, Dubai, Paris, Rome, Edinburgh, London, etc., they've been consumed by nature and they are now worshipped as sacred places. Famous landmarks, London's Big Ben, New York's Empire State Building, they've been consumed by moss and wildlife, whereas they now inhabit like they own the place. That's pretty insane. The citizens here have developed their own way of life. It's less reliant on technology and machinery. Yeah, no, I could definitely get used to this way of life. It's like a dream that you're afraid to wake up from. I need to tell you about this girl I've met named Enya. She's wonderful. She's 19, around the same age as me. She's pretty beautiful and kind. You'd love her. She's actually a hybrid between a human and a new species, which you may not know, even I don't know. I wish you could meet her. You always wanted me to have a partner or girlfriend, which she's not. Yeah. I wish you could be here with me to see all this, Mum. Instead of dying in that horrible time in 2020, with that deadly virus, and those corrupt political leaders who had no idea what they were doing, and were only looking out for themselves. Although, I'm hoping I'm not the only one that woke up here. After experiencing the people of Terra's peaceful lifestyle, I hate to sound selfish, but I can't imagine myself living in 2020. Not after seeing how wonderful the future is, and how everyone seems to look out for each other. Anyway, I better get going. We're on our way to Dubai, which is mainly consumed by sand. Kula's picked up some movement readings coming from Dubai. Yes, we have that technology. She thinks it could be something else, not an animal. I'm hoping maybe a human. Gotta go check it out. Love, Steve Bliss.
Hey, I was just phoning to see how you've been. Feels like forever since we last spoke. Trust you not to pick up your phone even when we're on a lockdown. Partying hard in your isolation? Or are you on your third nap of the day already? Well, I hope you're well. I'm doing fine myself. I've genuinely done everything in the house that there is to do. My room is absolutely spotless. You'd be shocked if you could see it. It's never been this clean in my whole life. Oh, that reminds me, I sorted out my wardrobe, so there's a big pile of clothes here if you want them. Oh, and I even finished Gatsby. Finally. I just don't know what else to do. I don't know if there's anything else to do. I never thought I'd say this, much less mean it, but I actually miss getting up at crazy o'clock and going to school. I know we only had a few months left and we weren't even going back next year, but I just never thought it would end like this, you know? It's all so sudden, no prom, no senior pranks, it's just over. Anyway, have you seen how amazing the weather's been lately? It's never this sunny. Knowing our luck, it'll start raining as soon as we're allowed back out into it. I've been trying to spend as much time as I can out the back. What I wouldn't give to go back to that day last summer when we had that barbecue, do you remember? It was like 25 degrees all day long and we stayed out in our shorts and t-shirts till the sun went down. And then I stayed at yours and we watched all 3 seasons of Gavin and Stacey. And we made those brownies. Oh, do you remember how good they were? They were hands down the best thing I've ever eaten in all my 17 years being on this earth. I've been trying to make ones like it ever since, but I just can't get the recipe right. You need to give me your secret. Well, hopefully we can do something like that again soon. Or just anything again soon. Phoning you keeps me from going insane, if you ever pick up. I mean, I love my family, but spending every minute of every day with them is kind of torture. I just can't wait till we can talk again. Face to face, I mean. I'm going to give you the biggest hug. I'll be all excited screams and ugly crying. I'll have mascara running down my cheeks and everything. It'll be like a scene from a film. Everyone around us will think I'm well weird. But I suppose I'll be doing the same too. No idea how I'm meant to cope at uni next year without you. If I can hardly cope now. I know we're in a pandemic, but you know what I mean. Everything will be so different and new. It'd be strange without you there. See, when this is all over, we should do something mad. Like shave our heads or get face tattoos. I'm kidding, kind of. But we should do something like a prom, like a proper send-off. Something we could wear all the pretty dresses and suits we bought. You could get ready at mine and then you could stay at mine after if you like. I think that would be nice. Anyway, I'll leave you to listen to this awfully long voicemail
And you better phone me back as soon as you get it, even if you have just woken up. Okay, I love you. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
The birds are confused, but the dogs seem happy. The sky appears to be smirking, and the grass laughs at us with kind intentions. Perhaps it knows something we do not. In just 24 hours, services crumble and jobs collapse, come crashing down to earth, smack the surface, tumble into disorder, splat, like a relapse. Shake your shoulders. Breathe deeply, just relax. Try to stay in tune. But the world just feels so flat. Traffic lights become redundant. Streets full of cars going nowhere. The interzone is occupied by spooks and otherworldly vibrations. When we encounter strangers, we are a number, a radius. Nothing more than a perimeter. Force field, contagious. We are 2 meters, trying its best to be a perfect circle, willingly catching this stranger's eye. We are the same. There is another person on this ghost street. This person is asleep. A pitied atrocity exhibition reduced to a pair of shoes peeking out from damp duvets. Man. That goes jolting through me. It burns deep within my core. But of course, we look away. Finding ourselves in days of excess, business, eat less, success. What's next? Outrun the opposing candidate and all the rest. Online, see a blur of buzzed heads and mullet cuts. A pirouetting fury of banana bread exposed guts, passively passionate and pixelated. It's not enough to just do your best. But now we decompress. I seem to clunk along, industrial memory stored deep within the muscle of my impatient body. I find myself at the harbour. See a little light left on inside a boat. This is someone's home. A sacred space. A wilderness of clinquant lights, twinkling golden and tinsel-like. Makes me think of each and every single ghost light left on as a promise in empty theatres. The bulb blows. Mind pools like a rip current, dragging me back to postponed days and cancelled flights, trying to reach a means to an end, but finding only spineless plights. I feel our inability as a species to just sit back. I feel our need to fight. In the colony, behind the co-op, they had a birthday party with balloons, banners, and laughs. Pools of people like perfectly spaced traffic cones, celebrating, singing, dancing, dressed up to the nines, just outside their doors, radiating the better side of the human spirit. Heart and soul, hope, overcoming devastation, the things we cannot seem to ration. These days we hide in humble holes, cradle each other in caves, close the door, shoes off, turn the kettle on, long to pay £4 for a coffee. See countertops and floors gleam, yearn to forget this foreign, sterile clean. These familiar family walls are sewn together with newspaper clippings, photographs, and dreams. but I am threadbare and fraying at the seams. Those with insight are a little too prepared for the coming hibernation, but the birds still chirp whilst new dawn fades. The grass wry again beneath lost feet, because grass sees things so plainly. The moon will keep the tide in tow. The sky and the wind will wait. I know. As we continue on our monumentally feeble orbit, knowing love will tear us apart. Then stitch us back together again.
There was this guy I saw standing on a street corner once. Before you ask, it doesn't matter what street. These guys are absolutely everywhere. You'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Anyway, this guy who was waving a sign around. No idea what it said, because it looked like he tried to teach himself hieroglyphics. It was impossible not to understand what he was saying. He said that humanity was doomed, that we were all to blame for what was going on in the world, that we deserved every single bit of misery our way, blah, 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 apocalypse, blah, wages of our sins, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea, right? Just the sort of thing to brighten up your Monday. I hadn't thought about him in a long time. Thought he was just another weirdo. Kind of guy that eats raw eggs and brags about how he hasn't owned a TV since the 90s because that is how they get you. Truth be told, by the time I left the office that day, my head was so filled with compliance reports and risk assessments and loss adjustments that I just didn't have enough space in there to remember him. But then I saw a comment on Facebook. Two people having it out with each other over something stupid and meaningless, and then one of them said, "I hope your whole family gets coronavirus." And then I saw people posting pictures of themselves out and about, laughing, smiling, bragging about how they didn't know anyone who was sick, about how cowardly everyone was for staying in, that this was their message to the powers that be, telling each other to spread it, the message that it's not the actual virus, though I'm sure some of them thought about doing that too. I thought about that man on the street corner. I thought about what he shouted and what he'd said. I thought that maybe, just maybe, he had been right all along. We deserve it. We totally deserve all of it. Because look at us. How could we not deserve it? We have ruined everything for years, not because we were malicious, not because we didn't understand what we were doing, because we were lazy. Because it was easier to drive than to ride a bike. Because it was easier to throw everything in one bin than recycle. Because it was easier to eat meat for every meal than to try something new. Because it was easier to go outside than it was to stay in. Because it was easier to enjoy ourselves than it was to think of the dead and the dying. I'm getting away from the point. The point is, this is exactly what we were walking towards. Everything you see and you feel, that is the apex of what we have been striving for. And maybe you'll think I'm cruel, that I'm just another moron with too much to say and too little to think. And maybe you're right. But maybe. Just maybe, for the good of everything, the bees, the tigers, the fish, the air, the world, we shouldn't get through it. Maybe that guy on the corner was right. Maybe we really did get everything we deserved.
enough. Enough with the lies, the pretending, the hiding. I mean, who even speaks like that anymore? Life in the 21st century feels like it's on the double speed setting, and the current pandemic has suddenly pressed pause. COVID-19 has forced us to reevaluate our priorities and given us possibly the most valuable gift of all, time. I'll be down in a minute. I've just got to finish something here for tomorrow. Where was I? Yeah, time. I know the reason for this lockdown isn't pleasant, but it's given us so much more precious time with our loved ones. All around the world, parents are able to see their children more, and siblings are learning not to fight every second that they spend with one another. I stress the every because, well, we haven't quite achieved that in our house yet. It can be hard to celebrate ourselves when we are constantly reminded of how we have plagued the world with pollution, conflict and exploitation. But COVID-19 is giving us a chance to change ourselves for the better. 67 million fewer passengers flew in the first 3 months of 2020 in comparison to the previous year. In China, carbon emissions have fallen by 25% since the beginning of the outbreak. And in Venice, the canals have cleared and swan numbers have increased dramatically. COVID-19 is proving that we can stop the ticking time bomb of climate change before it's too late. Coronavirus has not only benefited the environment, it's brought about a type of morale and community never really seen before. Although coronavirus will cause millions of people worldwide to temporarily lose their jobs, we are joining with governments across the globe to put in unprecedented measures to make sure that people like you will be able to get through the next few months. In this country, we're being kinder, buying food for our elderly neighbours, walking the dogs of the immunocompromised, standing together, 2 metres apart, of course, in the fight against coronavirus. In a world that has become cold and hardened, this pandemic has broken boundaries and unified people in a way almost never seen before. There's no doubt that COVID-19 is one of the most horrifying events the modern world has seen. And all parts of society are suffering as a result of its violent rage. We're losing people. Economies are suffering. Lives are changing. However, there is some good for us to take out of this. We've shown compassion, solidarity, an undeniable courage. And for that, I thank you. We are constantly reminded that we are in this fight together. Together we are stronger. Together we will win.
The coffee's ran out. It's not really a problem, but I was getting pretty good at it. I could froth the milk and everything. I mean, I wasn't quite at that latte art level yet, but give it time. I suppose it's all this free time that I thought I should really sort the flat out. So I've cleaned the kitchen. All the surfaces are white, the hob's scrubbed, floors mopped. I've been avoiding it for a while. But it really didn't even take that long, and with Luke being gone, it's going to stay clean, which is great. I almost feel sorry for people that had clean kitchens before the lockdown. What are they going to do now? Florence is the type to have a clean flat. Everything will have its specific place. Cup handles all pointing in a row, shoes in a line. She's probably even got a spice rack. Apparently her dad's got a bit of a cough. Of course he hasn't been tested, so they don't really know, but I hope he's alright. I mean, I don't really know him, but still, you hope he's okay, don't you? When I was finished in the kitchen, I decided I was on a bit of a roll, so I went and did the wardrobe too. Colour coordinated everything, which is daft really, because I don't really care that much about clothes. I mean, I've got absolutely no reason to be going into my wardrobe now. I've been wearing this same jumper for too long. Still, it's something to do, isn't it? Oh, I sorted out my books as well. Really was feeling on a roll, even went into Luke's room, sorted them out. Not that he'd mind. I probably wouldn't even notice. I even put our cookery books in their own little non-fiction section. I mean, there's only 2 of them, but it feels very grown up. I think Florence might be the last one in her flat. She can't go home because of her dad. Obviously it's a shame because her mum's a nurse and she can't get back to work until he's better. Nurses are in such high demand right now. She could be out there doing some real good, but instead she's just stuck at home clapping. I'd make a terrible nurse. I can barely look after Luke's potted plants. You know, I don't know for certain, but I think I killed the cactus. Overwatered it, probably. Overloved it, if you ask me. I didn't even know you could overwater a plant. Maybe I'll grow a mangrove next. I didn't really know what to say when she told me about her dad. You know, I wanted to say that I knew what it was like, that we had something in common, but what? Oh, my dad's got a bit of a cough too, because he doesn't. He's got a slipped disc, but it's not really the same thing, is it? Oh, I finished the jigsaw that Greg got us. I think it was a joke present, really. I finished it anyway. I say finished. It's missing a piece. But 1 out of 1,000 isn't really that bad. It's one of those mundane jigsaws, so that one piece isn't going to help me make any sense of it. I've been staring at it for days and I still can't figure out what it's meant to be. Oh, I got a note from Florence the other day, actually. Handwritten. It was about one of the neighbours turning 80 on Thursday. Lisa, I think. Florence thinks that we should all sing to her after the clap. It's a lovely idea, but I don't know. Thursday's it looks a tough act to follow. You know, every week you'd bring a saucepan to the clap, like a hell of a racket. I was just impressed he cleaned the thing first. You know, I think I like the idea of singing more than the clap itself. I saw this video of the PM the other day. This isn't political or anything like that, but I saw them outside number 10 and they were all clapping. And that's all it was. Just noise. It doesn't actually help anyone, doesn't do anything. It's just for the cameras. still join in though. But singing happy birthday, that's different, that's normal. I mean, that's what we'd be doing if we weren't in lockdown. I wasn't sure if I was going to go out, but I did go out and sing in the end. Went out for the clap as well. There was a girl in the flat next to me, and you know, I thought it must be Florence. She was sort of like conducting everyone. So I said hi, and turns out I was right, it was her. So, you know, I said that I thought it was such a great thing that she was doing, and that's when she told me everyone has to do their bit to stay positive. And I'm staying positive. I'm glad that I'm not ill, that my dad's not ill. I'm glad that my work are still paying me. I'm really glad that it's so sunny outside and I can't go out. I'm glad I've not felt the need to bake banana bread. Now that's definitely best for everyone. After the singing, I tried to tell Florence that me and Lisa share the same birthday. Now, I didn't want to tell everyone, and I honestly can't think of anything worse than that many people singing at me, but you know, with Luke being gone, it'd be nice if you don't turn 21 every day. Just didn't hear me. That's fine. Honestly, it's fine. It was noisy in the street, and it's just a day. I tried to sort through my uni stuff after that, split everything by module, but I couldn't really face it. I thought about Florence. I thought that maybe once this is all over, we could go buy Luke a new cactus, or go for a coffee, or just go outside, anywhere. I could wear clothes from a colour-coordinated wardrobe. I thought about staying positive, and I am. You know, I'm glad Florence is my neighbour. I'm glad that Lisa turned 80 on Thursday. I'm glad that Florence sent me that note, and I'm glad she opened her window. I guess I just hope that she's glad that I opened mine.
Everything's a bit of a mess right now, isn't it? I mean, what is actually happening to this world? Who would have thought that something so small could literally break an entire country? Break entire nations? People stuck in a rotating, repetitive cycle. Herds of sheep crying out for the next bout of bad news. Please, Mr. Speaker, make me feel worse and ever so scared. I won't stand for it. I used to have purpose, a drive in this world. I was a high riser in a fly society of actors. I was a somebody. I used to know what I wanted to be, the things I wanted to achieve, and now I'm stuck, falling through an eternal rabbit hole that only gets deeper and darker as time flies by. My career might as well be over. All I ever wanted to do was act. I struggled academically, but I think deep down I always knew what I wanted to do. To perform, to entertain, to run away from all of life's problems. But now I'm fighting to try and find that glimpse of hope that I may re-emerge back into prominence, back into the limelight of a now weary public. I'd give anything to be back on set, to have that fear, that pit in the bottom of my stomach that says run away and run quick. I lay in bed, staring at the empty ceiling, trying to create this outer world, a world that's far better than this place. A world away from your beady eyes staring and mocking. That's you, by the way. I used to like music. Used to listen almost non-stop. The Smiths were a band I'd turn to when it all got a bit too much. I never thought I'd understand a lyric to a song quite as well as I do now. Does the body rule the mind, or does the mind rule the body? I don't know. I don't know. That line never meant anything to me. It always felt like a quick throwaway line. But suddenly I realised the pain of being lost. The pain of not being able to be in control of your own story, your own life. You might not realise this, but without an audience, I have nothing. I am nothing. I mean, I've just made you up into an imaginary figure to try and keep me sane. I was happy. I used to love the act of being a larger-than-life actor, a somebody in a world full of nobodies. And now, it's just you and me. A cold, remorseless camera staring at my sad little life. You gormlessly laugh at the pathetic person in front of you, but oh, do you love watching me on the big telly? Will you talk? Please let me out. I have to go back. Please get me out from behind these prison bars. I've entertained you, now entertain me!
Yes, I've taken them. Of course I have. Yeah, put it back on. I'm not finished with it yet. Yeah, I'll go out for a walk when I want. Oh, that woman. What cheeky business. Always nagging about something. Yeah. Are you coming to see me sometime? No, finally a piece, you know. All I miss is the Kirk. Oh, is it? Kirk on the computer? What next, eh? Wouldn't need to leave the bed, yeah. But I can't work the computer. Of course. You wee sneak. Did I tell your mum that? You telltale tit. Ugh, I'll get what for? I put my stick up yet. What, listening into our conversations? Can't believe her.
I thought I escaped all this when I was thrown out your house. I told her I'd go for a walk when I want. Anyway, how have you been, eh? How's school? Oh, really? Yeah, I know, it's funny, isn't it? No one's allowed out. So all the boys calling you up then? Yeah, the boys? Scaring them away? Helen? That phone's a nuisance, never works. Drown myself in vodka, not the house. What waste. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, are you coming out to see me sometime? Yeah, go and ask your mama. Aye, it's funny no one's allowed out, isn't it? Yeah, she'd be used to all this with all the trouble I used to cause my granny. Oh, there's this one time, I should be telling you this, but, well, you know your Uncle Archie, you know how he is. He just went on and on and on and on, and for goodness sake, I'm only human, right? And what did I do? Yeah, I took my bowl of rice pudding and on his head. He didn't tease me again, though. Yeah, sent me to the other room to wait for my mama, you know. Yeah, can you imagine that? All disappointed that I'd let her down. Yeah. What? What? Oh, for goodness sake. I didn't ask you. Fine. I bet you, if you come out to see me, I'll go for a walk. Yeah. Oh, for goodness sake. When have you ever listened to the rules? You could stand by the gate. Yeah. You've got an answer for everything, don't you? If I can see the sun. In fact, if you come now, you could sunbathe. Aye. The cheek on you. I'd die of dehydration. You know you're my only granddaughter. You could be a bit nicer. You don't seem to care that I'm all alone. You've got a brother. An amazing mum, and that dad of yours, he's better than nothing, eh? And I'm all alone. Change the subject, why don't you? Yeah? Look, I just forgot, you know me. I'll take them. I'll take them and you come out and see me, okay? Yeah? Make a deal? Yeah, I'm going to get them now. Yeah. You're just taking it. It's all done. See you soon, yeah? See... Oh. Gone.
That sounds wrong. So stiff and awkward. That's not something I would say to someone. That's too short. No, that's too long. Why would someone read that? Okay, start again. Does this person still want to talk to me? I just need to read it again and I'll think of an answer. What do I say? It needs to be perfect. Don't make it weird or awkward. They won't want to talk to me. I always say the wrong things and I never know how to make people feel better. Is it because I never try, or am I just a bad person? Do I deserve to talk to people? If I'm bad at talking to people, maybe I should just give up. I have to talk, even if it's hard. If I don't talk, all these words and questions will be stuck in my head. People listen and let me talk, even if I have nothing good to say. When I'm in the same room, they talk to each other like I'm not there, but because I'm there, they let me listen. It's my fault. Stop trying. I can't blame other people. I can't do anything. Can't even send a message. Can't even talk to people. If I can't even send a message, what can I do? It's just a message. Maybe I shouldn't reply. I don't have anything to say. Is it my fault? Is that why no one wants to talk to me? No one talks to me first. But wait, they do. It doesn't matter. Who cares if I started the conversation or not? I still need to reply. I'm not always right. I can't keep waiting for people to talk to me first. If I wait, it'll be too late. It's not a test. It's okay if I don't know. I need to say something. What do I say? I don't know. No, not that. Wait, but I don't know. I could say anything, but it's just a message. It doesn't have to be perfect.
My dearest, I long to see you and to be with you once more. Before this outbreak, we truly did take advantage of the wonders of travel and the natural world around us. Every wheeze in this ward makes me dream of waltzes through wind farms. Every hack bringing hopes of breaks to the beach. Every cry ignites a longing for your embrace. With every morning I clock into this sickly, horrible place, I feel the yearn to be with you, and the early hours grow ever stronger. But I'm always haunted by the regrets of paths not followed. Not followed. Some mornings these thoughts come up, come like a stream flowing through my mind, others a whirlpool consuming all in its path, scourging all aspects of my day and my work. In the grand scheme of this pandemic, I know these worries will ultimately prove meaningless, but to me, they've shaped my experiences with the ill. The choices I make of who lives and who dies, of living with you or without you, of clocking into work or just staying in bed. Oh, God. These choices I make have undoubtedly been the cornerstone of heartache and death. My time in this hospital gives me many opportunities to reflect on my regrets, as well as providing the perfect atmosphere for them to saunter in. And so, like night follows day, each death delivers me from my reverie. Dreams are broken with the news of another passing, another case, another loved one made to walk alone into the night. The night shift wails for help ring out like church bells in a ghost town. I don't know who the bell tolls for, but its chime pierces the peace of moonlight. This sanctuary of life has become an emblem of death. And what all I wish for is to return to you. For the comfort I need. And no, I can't. For if I do, you would follow those who have been lost to this killer. Right now, more than ever, I wish we could reunite. Live and love under the same roof. Share meals, just soak up one another's presences. And all of this began, we made simple promises on the misguided whim that it would be a short separation. But as these restrictions extend further and further in time, every day seems like a new lifetime. The calls and voice messages have been nice, but nothing can compare to your lost touch. The meals, for one, I make in your memory. The trinkets I carry to remind me of who I'm fighting for. They're never going to be as good as their oranges. They're like streams, in a way. While they may be attractive on their own, they can never compare to the staggering beauty of the ocean they came from. The ocean of you. This place itself seems to be a limbo, a land between day and night, in between life and death. For all the modern technology we have here, the patients lack that human touch needed for their comfort. A heart monitor could never replace a heartbeat. Our nurses arrived, glossy-eyed and blotchy-cheeked, ever ready, but not for whatever today may fire at us like cannonballs from invisible warships. Every day I see them stagger through hallways and with hair pulled back, a cruel grip and bodies buckling under the huge emotional weight carried on such It's delicate shoulders. I feel that weight tenfold. But yet, for all those I've seen walk alone into the darkness, I know that one day I will be reunited with you once more. Those nights of mourning, of hardship were all worth it. Soon we can share a home again and walk and waltz and take breaks and embrace to our heart's content. Soon we will greet the day again, together. Together, we will see the day. Yours eternally and adoringly.
Waiting. I just want to say something before I start. Hearing all of your pieces today, though no one had said it outright, I can tell what's going on has made some of you feel anxious about the future, feel low, worthless, different. I've been feeling that way since fourth year started. I know that surprises most of you. I hid it because I didn't want people gossiping about me, labelling me. Mostly though, I was afraid no one would understand me. No one I know had ever spoke about going through this, and if I had told people and they hadn't, I'd have felt even more alone. Anyway, I chose to write this list because for the first time in a long time, I am looking forward to things again. I care about things. I feel alive again. I know it sounds odd. I feel happier since lockdown started, but it was a surprise to me too. I guess depression affects us in different ways. I hadn't planned on admitting any of this. I did because I feel it's important I tell you this. If you think you're never going to feel like you again, trust me, you will. I was in that dark place. I didn't think I could escape, but I did. And maybe it'll be after the pandemic, later still, or even before it's over, but it will happen. Things will get better. You just have to... You must hold on till you reach the other side. Waiting. High fives, hugs, fist bumps, piggyback races, hearing the school bell, seeing you, all of you, in English. For Peter's jokes that even Mr. Moore can't help laughing at. For my heart to race when I fear Mrs. Donaldson will pick me to answer the question I don't know the answer to. All-night movie sleepovers and all-day shopping trips with Jess and Michelle. Our silly changing room selfies. Picnics, barbecues and birthday parties and birthday cake on paper plates and drinks spilling everywhere and laughter, laughter, laughter. Seeing the excitement in my brother's face before he leaves for a football match. Day trips with my parents, hill walking, visiting castles, building sand castles, and I don't care who sees. Muddy sand, the sea's cold shock. Visiting my granny at her care home, playing poker with her, hugging her so much. Being part of a crowd at the cinema, the theatre, the hydro, live, loud music at a gig, forcing our way to the front, screaming so much it leaves my throat sore, the ringing in my ears after, how it doesn't stop when we go through the orange tunnel, when my head hits the pillow. Living every moment on this list for the rest of my life with a clear head, with a mind that is all mine.
Things like this aren't in stories for a reason. Disease has no narrative thread. It doesn't follow the laws of storytelling. Infection itself doesn't exist. Infection is nothing without a world to infect. It feels like we've been sick for a very long time. This pandemic's just shone a light on it. I'm finally in the clear. I got my vaccine this morning. I've had my immunity passport installed. We're having a little party later to celebrate. Here, we young-ish adults are the last to get it. Key workers and those most at risk come first, followed by the rest of us. The government use a lottery system using dates of birth, but it's different depending on where you live. Each country claiming their method is the right one. We follow the science, as if science was one expert in the room, as if all data led to one conclusion. But it's all about trust, isn't it? Follow your neighbour, act as I do, protect one another. What else? Oh, well, most folk wear these masks. Most people just make their own. You get used to them. There's less cash. Cash is dirty. So nearly everyone uses their phones. And phones are very important because they help with track and trace. They tell them where you've been, who you've seen, facial recognition, temperature checks, biometrics. It's all part of daily life now. In the NHS, that's not getting touched for a few more decades. It's seen as a matter of national security now. Oh, and pain. There's a lot of pain. And it's hard to express that in a world where you're not allowed to touch each other. You're not allowed to gather. But there will be room for that now. Time for change. Time for grief. Because there's no going back now. The world's different. And it can never go back to what it was like before. And it's up to us to fight for what happens next. And I hope that we can make something good, something kind, so that someday, somehow, we just might make sense of it all.